Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox, and I'm coming to you today with a review for How to Get Away with Murder, Season 6, Episode 5, I believe it is. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the show opens with Annalise listening to herself thought out to Sam on the damn recordings, okay? She's ashamed of herself. And while she's listening, she gets a phone call. Next thing we know, she rushes down to the hospital, and it's fine-ass Frank. Oh, my God, don't die, fine-ass Frank. You know, Bonnie is frantic, and the ER people are frantic, and Annalise is frantic. There's a whole bunch of frantic going on here. Fine-ass Frank, we find out why he's there in the first place. So it flashes back to when he's talking to Laurel and her eyebrows' brother, Xavier. And Xavier is telling Fine-ass Frank that he doesn't know where Laurel and her eyebrows are, but he wants Fine-ass Frank to help him find her. And Fine-ass Frank tells him he'd kill him before he let that happen. And then I guess he think he just gonna walk on out the building. See you later. I was like, it don't work like that, Fine-ass Frank. You ain't that tough. When he's walking out, trying to walk by Xavier's boys, they stun gun his ass. And all I could do was laugh. That's what you get. I'm sick of Fine-ass Frank thinking that he can beat up the world. Now, back at the hospital, Annalise is trying to calm Bonnie down. Fine-ass Frank is not going to die. He's tough. Don't worry about it. Now, Real Nice Nate is there, too. And Bonnie is just like, are you going to tell her? And Annalise was like, tell me what? And Real Nice Nate says, the feds offered me a deal, but I didn't take it. Annalise was like, what? When were you going to tell me? Okay, he's telling you now. Why you didn't tell me before? He said, because he thought he was going to, she was going to act this way. And she says, I'm acting this way because you didn't tell me. And Bonnie says he still thinks that Steen is involved in all of this some kind of which way. And she was just like, you're an idiot. While they sitting up there arguing about whether or not Steen is involved, the police walk up, okay? And they trying to do some research, little investigation on Fine-ass Frank. Okay, are you guys his family? No, we're his friends. Oh, okay. So how do you know Fine-ass Frank? He looks over at Real Nice Nate, and Real Nice Nate was like we just said, I am a friend. He was like, oh, hold on, sir, don't get aggressive. And Annalise was like, you're going to see aggressive if you keep asking us these stupid questions. You want to know who did this to Fine-ass Frank? We know who did it. Xavier Castillo. The feds know where he is. Why don't you guys go and do your job? Well, that Annalise is sure not nice. And right after that goes on, old Fine-ass Frank, he seems to wake up over there, and he's, of course, looking around like, oh, he's coughing. And I was like, if you don't sit your motherfucking ass back, that's why you in this mess in the first place. Every time you wake up, you want to be jumping around and throwing up and spitting up and sit down, nigga, sit down. Bonnie rushes over and she's like, Fine-ass Frank, it's me, it's Bonnie. Did Xavier do this to you? And all he says is Laurel and her eyebrows. And she says, what? Laurel and her eyebrows. I was just like, nigga, on your dying bed, that's going to be the last word that you say. They rush him off to take care of him, and Bonnie looks at Annalise and she says, he was with Laurel and her eyebrows. And Annalise was like, you don't know that. And she's like, yes, he said Laurel and her eyebrows. But let's go back again to Fine-ass Frank and Xavier. Okay, they've now got him tied up in a chair. And Xavier is trying to convince Fine-ass Frank to help him find his sister. He lets him in on a little bit of secret. There's somebody in you guys' group that's working with the feds. Okay, y'all got a turncoat there. Fine-ass Frank doesn't believe it. Well, who is it? Well, okay, I'll tell you that, but you have got to help me. I need you to help me find Laurel and her eyebrows. And Fine-ass Frank was like, Laurel and her eyebrows hates you. And it doesn't seem like you're a favorite with dear old dad. Boy, it sure must be old kicking the balls to know that Laurel and her eyebrows is your daddy's favorite. Oh, Lord, why he say that? Now, see, you got to get the bat. Back at the hospital, the doctors tell Annalise and Bonnie that they're going to take Fine-ass Frank, back for his surgery or whatever. So Annalise reports that to Real Nice Nate. You can go tell the feds, by the way. He was like, he don't care. He still thinks that Steen is behind this. He says that they told him that Miller was innocent. Okay, fine. But she feels like her gut inside, her gut instincts say that Steen is on the up and up, just like her gut tells her that Real Nice Nate is not working with the feds. Or is her gut wrong? Maybe you will turn on me. And Real Nice Nate says, you talking to me like that makes the deal seem better and better. Now let's jump over to Oliver and Connor. It's the day after their threesome. We got to do a guilt check. How you feeling? Oliver feeling good. How Connor feeling? Connor feeling good. Okay. And their guy is still there. He's making breakfast. This is a perfect situation right here. Everybody seems to be happy. We see Michaela. She's still with her dad. And she's trying to find out about, what happened here. So you're trying to tell me that my mother was a one-night stand? Yep, your mom was a one-night stand, but she did mean something. Oh, bullshit. Isn't that what they all say when they have a whole illegitimate daughter somewhere? She was like, why didn't you come get me? And he was just like, well, I didn't even know about you at first. And then by the time I found out about you, and I did a little research. I mean, you were in high school and you were about to go off to Yale on a full scholarship, and by the time I figured I'd check in on you again, you were going to Middleton, and I asked Annalise to keep her eye on you. So you were doing fine. I wanted her to try to get a little bit more information on him and Annalise's friendship, but the secretary comes in and she was like, you got an appointment, you got to do this, that, and the other. And he was just like, okay, I'm coming. And then he tells Michaela, come to my room tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. So next morning, Michaela does come to the room and he's ordered up breakfast. He didn't know what she wanted, so he ordered everything. Okay, fine. So she goes over there and she makes a plate and she said, let me just first ask you a question. How did you know that I was adopted? He was like, you want to talk about that adoption? I want to talk about this thesis that you wrote, girl. You are a genius, just like your daddy. You so damn smart, I'm going to offer you a business deal. Okay, so part of this $500 million, he wants her to be in on it and, kind of help her disperse it and figure out who needs to get what and all of that kind of jazz. She was just like, okay, now we got to figure out how we gonna get paid. He offers her 2%. She says 10. He says 3. She says 4%, I think, was her final offer, was it? And he says, boy, you drive a hard bargain. But you know what, old secretary, get her started. Make sure she got the opening package for this $500 million that we gonna give out. Okay, we about to do some business together. And then she gets a text message, ding, ding, from Annalise. And it says, meet me at the house in 20 minutes. And we also see Chloe and Asher arguing. Okay, he's mad that she's there and she's trying to tell him that the mom needs him. He was like, oh, the fuck, well, the mama kind of abandoned him when he needed her. She says, listen, daddy wasn't corrupt and now the mama broke. And now she's given up, Chloe feels like the mama is suicidal. Oh, well, Asher still can't be bothered. Okay, so we go on and go to sleep. And the next morning, she's still trying to convince him to go home. And he gets the same text that Michaela got. You know what, Chloe, you got to go. Okay, I got something to do. Get. She was like, you got something to do more important than your mom? Yep. I do. Before she leaves, though, she says, Mom fixed the Tiffany thing for you. I know you think that it was Dad, but it was Mom. Because Mom always takes care of her children. Okay, so you need to remember that. Asher don't want to hear it. So we see Asher and Connor and Oliver. They are at the house with Annalise. Okay, Annalise was like, where's Michaela? Oh, Michaela's on a romantic getaway with Gorgeous Gay. She's like, you have fucking got to be kidding me. Really? With everything going on? Anyway. Finance Frank got his ass beat and he may die. Oliver's like looking like, oh shit. Okay, I didn't tell you guys, but Finance Frank had found Laurel and eyebrows. Everybody's like, what? And he was just like, yeah, he had a picture of her getting into a cab. And so I kind of helped him just find the guy who was driving the cab. He said, but the guy in the cab didn't remember her, so I thought that was it. Sorry. Don't apologize to him. Apologize to Finance Frank for your stupidity. And I was like, okay, now wait a minute, Annalise. First of all, it's not Oliver's fault. You guys use Oliver for everything, okay? It's stupid ass Finance Frank's fault for running after her ass with no backup. Nobody knew where he was going, okay? He just had to find his stupid, precious Laurel and eyebrows. So that's what the fuck he gets. That is not on Oliver. And then Finance Frank get his ass up in there and think that he gonna insult the man and then just walk away? No, it don't work like that. And speaking of Finance Frank, let's flash back again to his little meeting with Xavier. So now, we got him in the chair. He done got worked over with the bat. And now we gonna ask you again. We need you to help us with Laurel and eyebrows. He shows him a picture. That picture that he thought was Laurel and eyebrows getting into the cab is actually his assistant, okay? He got the box. He got all the shit in the box. Okay, so you ain't even don't worry about that. You're not about to get it. And Finance Frank was like, well, go tell the FBI. He said, I'm going to do you one better. I'm about to toast your ass. Since you so big and bad up in here. So he get his boy to bring out it looked like a damn, the jumper cables for a battery, a car or something. He throw those on the ground like, this for you, bruh. So all of that fun that he just had, we find out at the hospital that, he's got an intestinal tear that, was really, really bad. Also, it looks like he was electrocuted, and that's going to cause a whole bunch of problems. Motor coordination skills will be off, could be some breathing problems, yeah. Brother man got cooked. So we don't really know how this is going to turn out for him. Now, jumping back to Michaela, she's not leaving, obviously, to go meet with with Annalise and the boys. She still has to talk to her daddy. Gorgeous Gabe is calling her, leaving her a message. We promised that we wouldn't ghost each other, so, why don't you call me back? Okay, she'll call you back later. Let her be extremely annoying to her newfound father and her newfound job that he just offered her. That damn Michaela thinks she calling the shots. She telling him what he should and shouldn't do. He tell her, no, this is not what we doing. Okay, we doing this, that, and the other. She don't like that. She tells the secretary to get the fuck out. And the secretary looks at daddy and like, really? And he was like, just go on and go. So she walks out. And Michaela was like, is that what you did to my mother after she spread her legs? You just told her and that was it? And I was just like, oh my God, Michaela, you are just, she is like a pain in the pussy for real. What is wrong with that girl? Are you trying to work for the man or you trying to be the daughter? Are you going to keep on bringing up the mama and the fact that he abandoned you? Or are you going to get to business and make this wet? Which one do you want it to be, Michaela? I understand that you're confused and all of that. It's overwhelming. It's a lot of information, but still, girl, I'm going to need you to figure it out and stop being a bitch while you're doing it. She just wants to know if he changed his story to hide that he's a bad person. And he was like, listen, Michaela, what is it that you want from me? And she says, money. And a whole bunch of it. Okay. He goes and sits down and writes out a check. And she was like, and don't think that this is the only payment. Okay, you owe me big time for all this pain and suffering that I've been through. So he comes over and he walks over and he hands her a check. And it just has her name on it and the amount is empty. Okay, a blank fucking check. He says, you take whatever you think you deserve. I was like, jackpot! Bitch, I'd have been out of that bitch so fast. All this trouble that they in, honey, I will tell you, I'm worth quite a bit. And I'm going to need to be worth a lot enough to move, to move on out the country and survive for some years and years and years. Oh, yeah, he got it. $500 million that he just frivolously giving out to these women. He can give it to his daughter, too, honey. I'd have been out. But she goes on back home. She tells the boys where she was, obviously, and then she shows them the check. They were like, damn, is this real? Okay, like my same thought. One of them was just like, we ought to write out that check and get the fuck on. Okay, live our life safely outside of this country. I'm right along with you. I think that was Connor. Michaela's mad at Asher for telling Annalise about Gorgeous Gabe killing his mama's boyfriend, and she was like, and it's not true. And he said, yes, it is. Connor is mad at Oliver for trying to help finance Frank, and Oliver was like, I was just trying to be a friend. They were like, to finance Frank though? When is he anybody's friend? Michaela, of course, doesn't know what's going on. Excuse me, can somebody kind of let me in on what's going on? Oh, your boy Oliver helped finance Frank find Laurel in her eyebrows. She's like, what? My Laurel in my eyebrows? Why nobody told me? Are you just telling me this just now? They're like, yeah, because you was bragging about your fucking blank check. He found Laurel in her eyebrows, and now he's about to die in the hospital somewhere, honey. They done put him on 500 in the oven. And burnt that motherfucker to a crisp. There's a knock at the door, and it's Chloe, okay? And Chloe is annoying, too. I was just like, do they make it a point to make everybody on this show just really, really unbearable? Okay, she walks in, and she's just like, hey, Asher's like, oh, my God, it's my stalker sister. And she was like, oh, I just want to meet his friends. Supposedly you guys are family. She's walking around the house as if she owns the place. I'd have been like, bitch, excuse me. Where you going? Chloe says, so did Asher tell you that my mother's about to kill herself because of my dad, being accused of being corrupt when he wasn't and us losing everything? Asher tells everybody that she's lying. She says, no, I'm not. And it's so funny he calls you guys family. You guys don't even know him. What's his middle name? Nobody really knows, okay? Michaela walks up and she says, yeah, we might not know his middle name, but we definitely are family to him. We know him. What we do know is that he needed you when his father died and you weren't there, but I was. Okay, she's looking down at Michaela. She says, oh, so you must have been fucking this one. Okay, she's like, he's not anymore, but he was. Okay, for a long, long time. And you would know that if you were so close to him. And by the way, my name is Michaela. And Chloe was just like, okay, I'm ready to go now. Okay, we thought so. So Chloe leaves. Asher's like, I'm so sorry. And them two leave. Now let's jump over to Steen. Steen's wife comes into the office. And Steen tells her, okay, baby girl, let's get to this paperwork. Okay, go down the checklist, see what we are and are not going to agree to. So they're going over who's paying for what. And we get to the subject of Patrick. Patrick is Cora's husband, or should I say ex-husband, because we find out that Cora broke up with him 6 months ago. Steen was like, what? You ain't told me that? And Cora was just like, yeah, you know, it was and she was like, did you think that I was going to want your ass back? Like, are you that high up on yourself? Cora's like, no. You know, that's not what it was. And Steen wants to know if, you know, she was fucking around with this guy before they broke up. And she says, no, we were not intimate before you and I, you know, separated from each other. She says, but I did have feelings for him. And that was enough to hurt poor little Steen's heart. She gets up and she says, I'm fixing to take all your motherfucking money, bitch. All of it. Now, back at the hospital, old fried fine-ass Frank. He's in his bed. Bonnie's all worried. And, you know, he kind of flashes back again, or we flash back again to his fun times with Xavier. And, you know, he's sort of in and out of consciousness, you know, and he kind of looks up and looks over and he sees Xavier and another guy over there looking at some paperwork and kind of laughing to themselves. And we don't know what that means. But back at the hospital, you know, Bonnie, she's just so distraught and upset. She's talking to him like, you know, fried fine-ass Frank, you can't leave me here by myself. You can't leave me with these crazy people. Please come back for me. I said, well, Bonnie, girl, I mean, I knew you always had feelings for old fine-ass Frank, but, you know, I thought that Miller had been kind of wiped some of that away, but obviously not. This girl fixing to lose her mind. And then here goes real nice Nate. You know, he's still on it. He don't give a fuck with all of the tension and stress in this hospital. You know, Steen's wife is in town. Okay. And don't you work for Homeland Security? And don't they have a thing for torturing? You know, Bonnie was like, real nice Nate, I cannot with you right now. I was like, I'm so mad they're making me dislike real nice Nate. Okay. And he still don't care. We can't let our guards down. I said, well, we definitely won't be able to without you flirting around like a fucking 4-day-old fly all the fucking time. Just all in everybody's business. Annalise is at home and she gets a knock at the door and it is Steen, honey. Steen got some flowers in her hands. I said, oh, Steen, you fixing to do it like that? But Steen was like, no, these are flowers that was on your doorstep. Okay, she pulls out the little card and she was just like, oh, is this from Robert? My Robert from Flirt Inferno? And Annalise was just like, yeah, you know. And she was just like, oh, so you guys went on a date, huh? Well, how was it? Did you get you some? Okay, because if you're going to be with a man, if that's what you're going to do, at least let it be worth it. Okay, Annalise is looking at her. She says, have you been drinking? And she was like, I sure have been. She said, I'd actually had a couple of shots before I came here. Okay, out of respect for you and your alcoholism, you know, and your sobriety and whatnots. Started cracking up. And that poor Steen is a mess, child. She sit down on the floor and she is upset about her impending divorce. See all these tears? That means that I'm still in love with Cora. I tried to get her out, but the damn bitch is in my blood. And Annalise was like, well, that's good that she's in your blood because that means that you're alive. And Steen was like, you know what, Annalise? I sure admire you. I wish I could reach over this table and kiss you right in the mouth right now. She might as well have said that, but she was just like, you know what? You just aren't trying to be perfect. Everybody knows you're not perfect. You just are what you are. You're brutal. You're honest. It just makes me want to be near you. Okay? I'm really glad I know you, Annalise. And Annalise is looking at her. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, is this what it's going to be? Is this what is happening? Okay? She even moved her hair back a little bit. And it's a little tender moment. I was like, is somebody gonna lean in? It did a little slight leaning in, and then Annalise had to remember, okay, right, get it together, Annalise. She was just like, let me go get you some food, you know, kind of soak up that gin that you have. Honey, gin do make you sin too. I'm a believer, a witness, and all of that. So the next day, Annalise goes back to the hospital to check on fried fine-ass Frank. He's still over there baking. Stop. Annalise tells Bonnie that Gorgeous Gabe is going to be a problem again because he's heard all of her therapy tapes that she had with Sam, all these fucking names. You know, she's feeling pretty bad because she was thoughting out, like I said, to Sam, and all these years she's been telling herself that she wasn't the one to blame when really she was. And, you know, she shouldn't have done this. Fuck, she should have just stayed with Eve. But she was afraid to be gay. So that's why she did that to Sam. And look where it's gotten him. Everything is falling apart. And Bonnie was just like, no, You are not the reason that we are where we are. Sam is the reason that we are where we are. Okay, you need to forgive yourself. I was like, it's about time that somebody tells Annalise that, yeah, it is her fault too. But that Bonnie can't see no wrong in that Annalise, obviously. But Annalise does know better. She goes home and she's listening to the tape. She's disgusted. She's embarrassed. Okay, she's ashamed. I said, girl, ain't nothing like looking in that mirror. But you know, she can't take it no more. So she takes the tapes and she smashes them. Then she sends a text message to Gorgeous Gabe. Okay, come on by the house. So now it's time for her to admit that she did go after Sam. I mean, she can't help but admit it. It's already on the tape. We heard it, right? She tells him that she was young, you know, she wanted to be loved, you know, she had a lot going on in her life and most of it bad. So that was what she did. And she didn't care who she hurt. And so Gorgeous Gabe was like, so you've changed? And she says, I'd like to think that I have. And he says, so you don't lie anymore, huh? Try real hard. He says, well, why didn't you tell Michaela that you knew her father? Oh, yeah, that. And Annalise was like, all these fucking stories I got to keep track of. I invited you over here so that we can talk about your dad. We're not talking about Michaela right now. So anything that you want to ask me, go on and ask me. He says, well, why did you choose him over Eve? You know, if you loved Eve. And she was just like, yeah, I chose him because he was everything that I dreamed about my future. You know, he was a family man. He had a good family, easy smile. Okay, she could tell that he was going to be a provider. He made people comfortable. You know, people loved being around him. People didn't really love being around Annalise. He forced her to think about family. Okay, that's what he really wanted. Okay, as a matter of fact, he really wanted you, Gorgeous Gabe. That's why I was trying to give him a baby all them years, because he wanted a family. He wanted you. Okay, he loved you. And child, if you could bottle up hope and spread it all over somebody else's face, child, that would have been Gorgeous Gabe's at that moment. I mean, if he didn't look like a child that was just really yearning for his lost father, I know something. I was like, he looked like he just wishes that he could talk to his dad one good time. I was just like, boy, this boy doing some good acting here. But back at Michaela, she's still looking at this empty check. I'm trying to figure out why we still even in wherever Middleton is, okay? And she's laying next to Connor. He's still mad at Oliver, you know, calls him the biggest liar of all. I said, what a stretch. There's so many other liars in front of Oliver, and you guys know I don't even like Oliver. She says, well, Laurel and her eyebrows got him beat. I said, yeah, she probably does. Connor tells her again, you need to take that money and run. And she says, no, she wants Solomon to suffer the same way that she did, you know, so she just plans on being around and being a pain in his ass. Connor is just like, you know what, Michaela, I know you upset about what he did, but you are a lot like him too. You know, you ambitious and everything, and you probably would have done the same thing. She was like, what, abandon my child? He says, no, choose your job over anything else. Okay, give Michaela a little bit of something to think about. Then he goes back to Oliver. He still can't get over the fact that Oliver ain't told him about Finance Frank and what he was doing. Okay, I'm your husband. You're supposed to tell me these things. Okay, you have made me so mad, you know, and I don't want to get no divorce, but it's really making me feel like maybe that's what we need to do. Oliver says, well, I didn't tell you because I thought you'd tell Annalise. He says, I wouldn't have. He says, but I don't believe you. He says, oh, no, so now you don't trust me? He says, no, I'm not saying I don't trust you. I'm just telling you. I'm being truthful. That's also what part of a marriage is. You want to know what else is part of this marriage? Oh, boy, the threesome. He calling because he want to come back over for another round. Now, let's jump back to Steen, okay? She done sobered up, and she's back at the office the next day. Isn't it funny that nobody is ever in that fucking office? Are we sure that anybody works in that office? I mean, it don't be not one soul in there. Anyway, she invites Cora back down, and she was just like, I hate that I'm about to tell you this, but I got to tell you this anyway, okay? Steen's still in love with Cora. Steen misses Cora. Okay, Steen still want to be with Cora, and that's why she ain't signed them divorce papers. Cora says, well, you know what, Steen, I sure hate to put it to you this way, especially since you just told me all them nice things, but I tried to make everything seem about Patrick, but you know what, it wasn't even about Patrick, okay? I didn't love you, and I hadn't loved you for a long time, all right? I don't miss you, and I haven't missed you for a long time. Okay, we not getting back together. This ain't about to be no soft, warm, and fuzzy moment or anything. I said, oh, we over. And I mean over. And child, I felt so bad for that Steen. I said, girl, you was molded. But listen, I have been there before. I have definitely been there. I have had a guy who I really, really cared about. I mean, tell me some of the most hurtful, horrible, mean things. And to this day, this was probably 25, almost 30 years ago. To this day, I still remember that conversation. I still remember how heartbroken I was. I still remember how it stabbed me in the heart. And even when I think about it now, I get a little inner feelings a little bit. So I was like, oh, Steen, I'm sorry. But Steen, honey, she kept it together. She says, oh, well, you know what? I guess I better sign these papers, right? And so she signs the papers and she gives them to Cora. Cora, she get the papers, and then I guess she trying to give Steen a hug. She was like, no. Do not do that, please. Okay, thank you. And Cora was like, okay, she leaves on out. And child, when Cora leaves, okay, much like Rocky again, honey, that Steen goes over to the wall and gives you one of them good gut-wrenching, cleansing cries. Because after you get a good cry out like that, bitch, that's it. You was really then cried them out of your system, and you like, fuck them, and I'm about to move on. You still be in your feelings a little bit, but you know what? That is the first step to getting past a old fuck nigga. And that's what Cora is, a old fuck nigga. Cora goes downstairs to her motorcycle, and she's trying to start it up, and it won't start. She's like, son of a bitch, what's wrong with this motorcycle? Oh, real nice natives, what's wrong with it? Okay. He comes out the dark, and he's just like, you need some help. And she just looks over and like, ooh, look at this old fine ass man over there. I said, girl, he gonna get on your nerves. I'm already trying to give you the warning. Back at the house with Asher, his sister's trying to tell him that they are, his friends are full of shit. She can already tell, that they not all right. They not good. They don't have his back. You trying to be loyal to them, and they not going to be loyal to you. When it all is said and done, you need to come home to mom because we need you. Okay. We, your family, we the ones that's always going to have your back. Just come home and give us another chance. Now, back at the hospital, Bonnie's there with fried fine ass Frank, and he's still out of it. And then he wakes up and he starts jumping around and trying to pull his shit out again. And I was just like, I'm about so sick of your fucking ass. If you don't sat down some damn where, always doing too much. Okay? And Bonnie's trying to figure out what's wrong with him. She can't figure it out. Next thing you know, we see her calling Annalise, you've got to get down here right now. Annalise rushes down there, and Bonnie was just like, fried fine ass Frank said that you helped Laurel get out of here. And Annalise was like, what? Yes, when he was saying Laurel and her eyebrows, he meant you. Annalise was like, I absolutely did not help her disappear. Yes, you did, because where did you get the money from? What money? Xavier showed him some money that was in your account that's offshore. Where did you get the money from? Laurel and her eyebrows paid you off. I got the money from the firm, the bonus. They gave me my bonus. Why wouldn't you tell me that? Why the fuck do I have to tell you where my money came from is what I want to know. Okay? And Annalise was like, listen, I had to get my money because if I got to get the hell up out of here, then that's what I'm gonna damn do. Child, that Bonnie is just a crying and face all twisted up and everything. She don't know what to believe. And Annalise was like, wait a minute. Now, see, this is what they trying to do. Okay? They tortured Fried Finance Frank, and now they trying to torture us. Okay? You cannot believe this. I did not do this. They're trying to break us all apart, but we got to stick together. Oh, Bonnie, she gives her a hug, honey. That Bonnie don't know. All she knows is Fried Finance Frank is the love of her life, and that he about to go. But it don't look like he's about to go because I guess after his surgery and after, some recovery time, now he's pretty lucid. He's pretty good. Okay. Can't really talk all that well, though, but he does ask Bonnie, did you talk to Annalise? And she says, yes. And he says, do you believe her? And she says, yes, I do. And he says, okay, yeah, well, you're probably right. You're always right. He says, you know what? I don't know why I was fucking around with Laurel and her eyebrows. You always was right about her too. Okay. She ain't shit, never was shit, never gonna be shit. I'm glad I got you in my corner. Okay. I love you, Bonnie. I love you so much. I said, oh, look at this. Isn't that how it always is? Now they want to come around, now that he done been on the charcoals and gonna have to pee in the bag and probably be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Now all of a sudden he loves Miss Cold Ass Girl. Don't fall for it. Do not do it. But Annalise, honey, she goes home, and now that they know about that bank account, she got a little bit of the bubble guts. I said, girl, I know you do. And honey, she calls and, she gives the password, Bravo, Tango, satellite, money. She wants to know, What is her balance? Shall that man get on that phone? He say, you got $2.17. She said, what? I said, ooh, girl, $2.17. Listen, I was hurt for her. I know what it feels like when you forgot about a damn Netflix payment coming out your bank account. Okay, fuck shit up. I can't imagine what it feels like to have a $207,997. I can't imagine what it feels like to have a $207,997.83 withdrawal. Like, oh, girl, $2.17. What we supposed to do with that? That won't even buy you a fucking soda. So she does what anybody else would do in this situation, I guess, and calls her real rich friend, Michaela daddy, Solomon Vic. I said, imagine that. And he was just like, Annalise, I was wondering when you're going to call. And she says, yeah, and I was wondering when you was going to grow out of that kind of flippant attitude. But whatever, okay? The time has come, honey. You're going to have to pay up. I said, pay up for what? Ooh, all of this stuff is connected, you guys. They are doing such a good job of keeping us so completely confused, but I just feel that it's about to all start to come together. I can't wait. 6 years we've been waiting for this. But anyway, Asher goes home, sees his mom destitute on the couch. She don't look nothing like the last time we saw her, that is for sure. He sits down and she's just like, oh, Asher, and he gives her what she needs, which is just a hug. And then we see Michaela, she's at Asher's house trying to, Asher knocking on the door. Asher's not there, obviously. While she's walking away, Gorgeous Gabe comes out, and he's like, are you still mad at me? And she was just like, no, I'm mad at myself, for not realizing that you were right. Okay, so, they do their little talk and they make up. And she goes over there and she hugs him, and then it flashes to the future. Shoo, 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 shoo. We see the little poker and the blood and all of that. And then we hear them say that they have a dead informant, Michaela, trying to get her to say something. And then we see Steen rushing into the apartment building that Asher and Gorgeous Gabe lives in. Okay, she's trying to go up the stairs. Okay, I'm trying to get to my client. And they were like, nope, nothing doing. You can't go up there. And she was just like, I absolutely will go up there. I'm the lawyer, and I want to make sure you guys aren't planting any evidence or DNA. And they were like, listen, we're following protocol. You don't need to be here, lady. So she's arguing with them. But, they show the stairs, and there's a big puddle of blood out there. And we're trying to figure out who might be her client. Is it Asher? Is it Gorgeous Gabe? Guess we'll see soon. All right, rock stars, that's it. Let me get off of here, get on back to work, you guys. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel's for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.